Hi guys, we're doing another geometry video here and we're going to work on this essential question of what can you conclude about angles. Hopefully you watched the prior video where I kind of introduced what degrees were. We're going to get into special types of angles today and how to classify them. So main idea for your notes is classification of angles. Here are some angles everybody should be familiar with and know. The first one looks like this. We're going to draw a picture in our notes. This is called a right angle. If you measure it on a protractor, it has a perfect 90 degrees, an exact 90 degrees. That's what we call a right angle. That is an angle everyone should be familiar with. The second angle we're going to draw is a smaller angle. It looks like the right angle's been kind of squished down. And because it's small, we say it's small and cute. So we call it a cute angle. Some people remember it as, oh, it's so small, it's cute. I know it doesn't look cute like a baby or a puppy dog, but it's a way of remembering it, that it's an acute angle, very small. It means it's less than 90 degrees. The opposite of this angle would be a big opened up angle, something oversized and large. We call that an obtuse angle. An obtuse angle is a large angle greater than 90 degrees. So a right angle is a perfect 90, but if it's smaller than 90, we call it acute. And if it's larger than 90, we call it obtuse. But there's one more angle I want to add to this diagram. And the fourth angle is if I drew a completely straight line. This type of angle, shockingly, is called a straight angle when you have a straight line. And it measures a perfect 180 degrees. Exactly 180 degrees on a protractor. So that's the fourth angle I wanted to add to our list here. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to get into naming some angles. There's some special names we need to know as well. So let's say this is our angle. It looks like it's obtuse. If I had to look at it and kind of guess, it looks bigger than 90 degrees. And I'm going to give it some extra points, and I'm going to label it with some letters. I'm going to call it A, B, and C. Draw the same picture in your notes so you're matching mine. Now, in geometry class, one of the things we do is we use notation, like shorthand ways of writing out this angle. So the way we'd write it would look like this. We'd use a little angle symbol, and we'd write angle ABC. And that's how we say it out loud. We read it, angle ABC. The letter B has to be in the middle because that's the vertex. That's the corner of the angle. So it was really important that that be the middle letter in my naming of it, ABC. Okay, so we're going to try a problem now. We'll do an example. This is going to be our setup. We're going to draw a picture that looks like this with two rays kind of going in different directions. We're going to label it with a whole bunch of different points. I'm going to call it J, K, L, and M. So you're going to want to do the same thing in your notes. And then we're going to answer some questions down below, starting with part A. Here's part A. I want to study the angle JKL, and I want to name it. Now think about JKL. Look at the screen when I do this. I'm actually going to connect the dots in the order I'm saying the letters. JKL. There's that angle. What does it look like? Does it look acute? Does it look obtuse? Does it look like a right angle? To me, it looks obtuse. It looks big and over 90 degrees. So it looks like an obtuse angle to me. Let's try another one. What if I said I want to study angle JKM? Angle JKM, I'm going to connect those dots and study it. So let's connect J to K to M. And check it out. There's JKM. What kind of angle is that? Oh, it's totally a straight angle. It's a straight line. So straight angle. Okay, well, how about this? Let's try a different example now. Example 2. What if I change the picture just a little bit? I've changed the direction of the rays, but I still am going to put a whole bunch of points on here and label it. And this time I'm going to call it E, F, G, and H. Pause the video, copy the picture so your notes look the same as mine. Now, I know something about these angles. Somebody's gone out with a protractor and done some measurements and found out that the angle in this corner is 64 degrees. But the other angle is not been measured yet. All I know is it's x plus 2. I've got a variable. My job now is going to be to figure out that angle and solve for x. So what do we know in this situation? Well, what happens when we put the two angles together? The 64 degrees plus the x plus 2. What if we combine them together? Imagine if I put a protractor in the background here. All together, how many degrees are these angles together? Yeah, 180. It's on a straight line. So all together, these angles equal 180 degrees. I can solve this problem. 64 plus x plus 2 equals 180. No problem. Put a line down the middle, use my algebra skills, and I'll solve this. I'll take the 64 away to the other side. I'll do 180, take away 64. I'll get 116. I'll take the 2 away from the other side, and I'll get 114. So we got our value. X is equal to 114. But here's my little thought bubble. Did we solve for the angle or for x? What did we solve for? We solved for x. We found the x value. We didn't find the angle. If x is 114, then 114 plus 2 is 116 degrees. So our angle, our answer is it's 116 degrees in that corner. All right. So let's talk about more types of angles. I'm going to give you some more words and things to remember here. New picture, we're going to make it look like this. Instead of using letters and points and saying like A, B, C, D, E, F on here, I'm just going to number the angles 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to study angle 1 and angle 2. These angles have a special relationship. If you look at the graph, look at them. Angle 1 and 2 are right by each other. They're side by side. We call that adjacent angles. Adjacent angles are angles that are side by side. So angle 1 and angle 2 are adjacent to each other. I'm also going to look at angle 2 and 4. Look at angle 2 and 4 in the picture. They're right across from each other. Look at them, they're like opposites. We call those types of angles vertical angles, right across from each other, vertical angles. So now your turn. What would you call angle 3 and 4 if you had to pick a name for them? Are they adjacent or are they vertical? Yeah, angle 3 and 4 are side by side. They're adjacent angles, totally adjacent angles. What would you call angle 1 and 3 if you had to guess? Yeah, 1 and 3 are across from each other. They're vertical angles. 1 and 3 would be vertical. All right, so we've got adjacent angles and we got vertical angles. Now we're going to try a problem. Example 3. Here is my new picture. Another couple of lines crossing through each other. I'm going to tell you that this angle has been measured with a protractor and it measures 70 degrees. And the angle across from it is 2x minus 4. What do we know about these two angles? We know they're vertical angles. They're right across from each other. And guess what? If angles are vertical, like this, right across from each other, then they're equal to each other. Vertical angles are equal to each other. So I'm going to write that down. They're vertical angles. And vertical angles are equal angles. That means 2x minus 4 has got to equal 70 degrees. I can totally solve for x. I'll put a line down the middle, no problem. I'll add the 4 over, I'll get 74. I'll divide the 2 away, and 74 divided by 2 is 37. So we get our value for x. X is equal to 37. All right, guys, so just to kind of summarize what the big ideas out of this video is you can name the size of angles. We've got right angles, we've got acute angles, obtuse angles, and we've got straight angles. And those are all ways of naming them based on their size. We also have special angle relationships that we need to remember. We've got adjacent angles, which are angles that are side by side. Here's an example of adjacent angles. They're right next to each other. And then the other type of angle relationship we just talked about are vertical angles. And vertical angles are the angles that are right across from each other. And those are equal angles. All right, guys, I think that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you kind of took away a couple ideas about angles and how to name them and classify them. And we are going to work on this more in class. See you later.